Good morning. I'm Hassan Giordano, and this is your DMV Daily Dose for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019.
In Baltimore, it's 55 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies. Today, you can look for lots of sun, with a high of 66 degrees and a low of 48 degrees.
The Washington Nationals struck first in Game 1 of the World Series last night, defeating the Houston Astros 5-4 as 20-year-old Juan Soto hit a go-ahead home run and a two-run double to give the Nationals their final 3 RBIs needed to hold off the 2017 World Series Astros. My LeBron-led Lakers had a third-quarter 15-0 run led by James, but he only combined with Anthony Davis to go 15 for 40, and they were held to a combined 2 points in the fourth quarter to lose by 10 in the first game of the NBA season, 112-102, to that other LA team, the Clippers. The Baltimore Sun is reporting on what many of us in politics knew for a few weeks now, that Mayor Bernard Jack Young will in fact be running for mayor in the next year's election. The longtime council rep turned council president for the past decade was elevated to the position of mayor earlier this year after Mayor Catherine Pugh resigned in disgrace due to an ongoing federal and local investigation into her Healthy Holly book dealings. Young, who initially said that he would only guide the city with a steady hand during the rest of the Pugh term, but will run for council president in the 2020 election, changed his mind over the past few months, decided instead to join his council colleague Brandon Scott in the mayoral race next year. His campaign said that he raised $250,000 in 1 week over the past month, on top of the already $500,000 plus that he had in his campaign coffers at the beginning of the year. And while the public won't get to see how much each candidate has until mid-January of next year, many expect Young to have more than $1 million in his account, probably leading the mayoral pack, which currently has almost a dozen declared candidates. Mayor Young will officially launch his mayoral campaign this Saturday at 11 a.m. at an old bank building used by past campaigns, from Governor Larry Hogan's campaign in 2018 to Catherine Pugh mayoral campaign in 2016, located at 1901 North Charles Street, in a day that will host the mayor's fall cleanup, as well as a parade in honor of hometown boxing champion Gervonta Tank Davis. Maryland Matters' Josh Kurtz is reporting on the speculation about Thursday's caucus meeting of Democratic state senators, which will happen tomorrow in Annapolis. According to Maryland Matters, speculation is running rampant about what Senate President Thomas Mike Miller Jr., a Democrat from Calvert and Prince George's County, will tell his colleagues about his health and his future, and the jockeying to replace him is only intensifying. The online news outlet said that what will happen next is anyone's guess. But there is increasing speculation that Miller, a singular figure in Maryland politics and a policy-making 76-year-old, will announce his departure. Now, the race to succeed him as Senate leader, which has taken place quietly for the past few months, would then explode into public view if he did resign. Now, Miller does have stage 4 colon cancer, as announced earlier this year during the beginning of the legislative session, but has held the position for 33 straight years, and the longest-serving Senate president in the nation's history. Some say he will resign altogether from his presidency and his Senate seat, while others speculate he will do absolutely nothing. And while nobody quite knows what will happen tomorrow, other than the official caucus business, which is being reported on by several news outlets, DMV Daily News has heard from several confirmed sources that tell us that Miller is expected to announce his resignation as Senate President, but he will remain on as the state senator for his district that covers Calvert and Prince George's counties. Now, Maryland Matters is reporting on in full what you heard in part by Richard Deshae Elliott on the DMV Daily Show this past Monday, that there's a scramble by the 32-member Democratic state senators to get the 17 votes necessary to succeed Miller. Now, while there is 47 state senators, Any contest for the chamber leader is typically left up and won by whoever wins the Democratic caucus. Those in the running, according to Maryland Matters, is Senate Majority Leader Guy Guzan, a Democrat from Howard County, Budget and Taxation Chairwoman Nancy King, a Democrat from Montgomery County who took herself out of the running, Senator Douglas Peters, a Democrat from Prince George's County, Senate Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee Chairman Paul Pinsky, Democrat from Prince George's County, Baltimore City State Senator and the nation's youngest senior senator, 36-year-old Bill Ferguson, who is the vice chair of the powerful Budget and Taxation Committee, and my personal choice, along with the emergence of Montgomery County Senator Brian Feldman, a Democrat and vice chair of the Finance Committee. Now, if there's a vote to replace Miller, senators will have multiple things to consider as they contemplate possible successors, according to Maryland Matters, including a candidate's age, ideology, geographical base, committee assignment, ability to raise money, and serve as a campaign strategist and party spokesman, amongst other obscure and personal considerations. Now, it is lost on no one that the current top contenders, Ferguson, Guzan, Peters, Pinsky, and Feldman, are all white males. Most of the Senate's African-American members met over the weekend, sources said, and while they could not reach a consensus on a candidate to support, they did discuss general goals for the succession process and for Senate management going forward. We will see what happens tomorrow and then go from there. But you can bet on one thing that's for certain, that whatever does happen, DMV Daily News will have it for you Friday morning on our Daily Dose. Now, I'm your man, Mr. Politics, and this has been your Daily Dose for Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. For all your daily doses and more on the articles that I've covered, just go over to www.dmvdaily.news.